Let's speak to a member of government, Bob Blackman, Conservative MP for Harrow East. Hello, Bob.
Yes, good afternoon, Vanessa.
Good afternoon.
But to correct you, I'm not a member of the government. I'm a member of the Conservative Party.
You're a member of the Conservative Party. It's lovely to have you on the programme, of course, but I wonder whether you've been listening to my programme this afternoon. Have you had a minute to listen?
I listened to your earlier caller, obviously around his position. It's always difficult to comment, frankly, on each individual.
Not asking you to. Let me generalise for you so that you don't have to tell me you don't want to comment on individuals, because I don't need you to and I don't want you to. So ever since the show started, and really nothing to do with me and nothing to do with my team at all, because obviously you can't orchestrate calls. You don't know who's going to call. You don't know whether a subject's going to fly or not. You don't know who's going to respond and who's not. But since the very beginning of the show, not encouraged by me whatsoever, we have had call after call after call from pensioners. We have had 73-year-olds, 78-year-olds. We've had older callers. It so happens that many of them, they come from all over the country, have been either nurses or paramedics. They've all been something in the NHS, working for us and working for our health throughout their lives. And all of them are saying exactly the same thing, and that is this: where are we in this mini budget? Where are pensioners? How is any of this going to help us? Tax cuts? No. Stamp duty cuts? No. National insurance? No. None of the measures announced by the Chancellor today will help them. And as for no limit whatsoever on bankers' bonuses, some of these decisions seem to be unfathomable when people who've worked for us all their lives can't turn the light on, as one of our lovely ladies said to me in the evening, because she's scared to pay the energy bill. She is sitting in the dark. Bob, what the hell is going on?
Well, let's be clear. Obviously, the Chancellor had to take action and has taken action in relation to energy costs. We knew that we were going to be facing a real challenge, and the new Prime Minister and the new Chancellor knew they were going to face this. And obviously, those were the most important decisions that effectively had been pre-announced before today. So the position on energy costs is obviously the energy price cap has been put onto domestic and business energy costs. And also all of the funding that's being provided to individuals and individual householders, including special arrangements for pensioners, still continue. Now, I've yet to see the final figures, but my estimate, certainly from what I've seen, is that will mean that the cost of energy bills over this winter and beyond will actually be lower than people have been previously paying. Now, that's got to filter through to the energy companies, because one of the problems that I know a lot of people have faced has been that the energy suppliers, particularly those people that pay by direct debit, have been asked to pay quite extraordinary amounts of money on direct debit. Now, I certainly have made representations privately, and I can make them publicly now, that we should be in a position of saying to the energy companies that is unacceptable. I mean, clearly we've now capped what people are going to be paying. We've given the capability for energy companies to have guarantees on their income via government-supported loans. So you shouldn't be charging people any more than they previously paid for their energy. Now, that is a guaranteed position for the next 2 years. So taking the point of the poor pensioner who's sitting at home thinking, oh, my goodness me, I can't afford to turn the lights on or turn my TV on or heat my home, they are being directly protected from the action that the Chancellor has taken, and I welcome that decision making.
But if they are, Bob, why don't they know they are? Why are they sitting there cold? Why did my lovely lady say to me just now, I used to cook for friends, I used to make soup for neighbours, I can't do it, I'm scared to cook at all, I haven't turned the oven on once because I'm frightened? Why did the other lovely lady say, I rescue cats and my neighbour has to pay for the food for the cats because I'm so worried, I'm worried sick about subsisting on my pension?
I completely understand people fearing the position because of the energy prices and because of the cost of food increasing and various other increases that have taken place. We're experiencing inflation still that we haven't previously experienced, probably in most people's lifetime, certainly not for a very long time indeed. So what we've got to do is to make sure that we get rid of that inflation, and clearly one of the the estimates that the Chancellor announced today is that the measures that he's introduced on energy costs, capping energy costs and the support that he's providing, means that inflation will be reduced by at least 5%. So that removes some of the elements. Now, obviously, businesses, particularly in the food industry and hospitality industry, they've had to increase their prices because they've seen their energy prices go up. But we've had the position, to be fair, to the new Chancellor and obviously the Prime Minister, that a lot of these announcements had to be delayed because of the very sad death of
yes. Bob, I need you to.
But the comms have got to go out, and you're absolutely right. The communications out to people need to be much better, and the energy companies need to be much smarter.
But Bob, I need you to explain. I need you to explain something to me, right?
Yeah.
If you're somebody earning over 150 grand a year, you're not somebody who's sweating the small stuff. You're not somebody who's all that concerned about your heating bill. And you're not somebody who probably even registers or notices whether the cost of pasta has gone up by 10p and you're paying 10p more than you were the week before. You're not somebody looking in the fridge to find one remaining onion so you can turn a bit of old bread into thicker soup so that you can have something to eat. That's not you. You're not that person, all right? You're the person who is reading about the cost of living crisis but isn't actually feeling it. It's not feeling it in your heart. You're not feeling it in your gut, and you're not cold, and you're not going to be cold because you can afford to turn the heating on. So why has Kwasi Kwarteng decided to help those people, the ones who are not worried, the ones who aren't feeling the pain or the strain, the ones who aren't going to be cold and definitely aren't going to be hungry? Why is he helping those people rather than concentrating on the people who are really not only in desperate need, but literally desperate? We've had tearful people on this programme this afternoon, and I'm not revving it up. I don't need to. I haven't even asked for pensioners to call. I mean, it's horrifying. It's horrifying.
I completely understand that. And that's one of the reasons why we've got the triple lock in place on pensions, so that pensioners will see their pension increased in line with inflation, which will, so if inflation is still continues to be high, they will see an increase in their pension come the next financial year. Now, I know that people say, well, I've got the problem now, but the reality is that's what's happening immediately.
But did you hear, Bob, what my caller said? But did you hear what he said? His pension has increased by 53, or was it 43p a week? And he said that I should ask you, and so I'm going to. What would you do with an extra 43p? You can't even buy a loaf of bread with it.
Well, I agree. You couldn't. But the reality is, I'm not clear. And it's difficult to comment on an individual's circumstances.
Except, and I'm not asking you to comment on an individual, I wouldn't dream of it, but my earlier caller said that she gets some kind of supplementary pension that she's had to wait for, and how much is it? And she said it's £5 a week. Well,
the various different pensions are obviously awkward to describe, but of course the pensions have gone up each year by at least 2.5%. For all categories of pensioners, and if it's been triggered on the triple lock on other times, then people have still experienced the increase. And during COVID, pensions went up each year, even though salaries and wages actually went down. Now, you've mentioned, and I think we need to take on this issue of high earners.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why Kwasi, as Chancellor, has done that is to encourage high earners to come and live in London and across the country. So they're paying their taxes to us to enable us to then use that for investment in public services. What is going on, has been going on in London, is a lot of those people that are on high earnings have been transferring overseas.
But listen, Bob, you know that this trickle-down theory has been discredited and devalued by none other than President Biden, but also by every single economic expert I've had on the show. That I haven't had a single person say it works.
Too much of a good job in running an American.
But I haven't had anyone say it works. They say it doesn't trickle down. It doesn't come far enough or fast enough. It doesn't work. It sticks at the top because if you're rich, you don't need to go and spend it. You can spend some of it and keep some of it.
We have to look at the entirety of this mini budget that is intended to grow the economy, and as the economy grows, then everyone benefits.
Bob Blackman, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you for talking to us this afternoon. Run out of time with you. A lovely listener, 0344 499 1000 will be...